start with the definition itself. What is DNA?
Okay, DNA is the genetic information that we all carry as individuals. So the human body uses the DNA that we have in order to make proteins, which is what allows our body to function well. So as long as we have proteins, our body will be functioning well. So, but what happens sometimes is that we have some mistakes in the DNA known as mutations. So when you have these mistakes, then the body is not able to produce the normal form of the protein. So it produces a defective form of the protein. So that means our body will no longer function well. So that's so one classic example of that is in sickle cell disease. So you have a mistake in the DNA, and because you have that mistake, then the body is not able to produce the right protein. It produces a defective protein, and that's what is associated with so many problems associated with sickle cell disease. So as you can see, the DNA is quite relevant when it comes to the body functions, but that's not the only function of the DNA. The other very important function of the DNA is that it stores the genetic information that makes us unique as individuals. So so as you know, we get half of the DNA, half of our genetic information from one parent, and then the other half of the genetic information from the other parent. Then when you combine it, you now get your own DNA, your own genetic information. So that's what makes you unique as an individual. So that is known as DNA fingerprinting. So the same way as we have fingerprinting for identification, we also have DNA fingerprinting, which is used for the DNA analysis. So that DNA fingerprinting is quite important, or is quite relevant in fields such as forensics, because it can be used to match the DNA that is found at the crime scene to that of an individual. So another area that DNA fingerprinting is quite relevant in, that it can, is in paternity testing, because it can be used to match that DNA from the mother and the proposed father to that of the child. So as you can see, DNA is extremely relevant for humans, because not only does it allow our body to function well, it also gives us our identity that makes us unique as individuals.
Well, DNA is a test to know if a particular being is someone's, like a blood test.
DNA actually means deoxyribonucleic acid. I think it's a way of finding out the paternity of a child, you know.
You said something about paternity, but we'll not get to that yet. But why are people skeptical when it comes to doing DNA testing, especially in our climate, in this part of the world? People just get uneasy when you ask them to do it.
Especially females.
Yes, especially females. So why is that?
Well, I would think there is a variety of factors. I think one of the main factors being that Nigeria ranks quite low when it comes to DNA testing. And that's because the DNA market is not very well regulated. So people feel skeptical about coming forward for such types of tests in Nigeria. Then the other aspect, the other factor that I would mention is just, the test is too expensive for most people to afford. And then there's also, especially for DNA testing, such as paternity testing, there's a lot of complexity associated with the test. And then there's also some logistic delays associated with that type of testing. So I think those are some of the factors that might that might make people skeptical about conducting those tests here in Nigeria.
You did not talk about something I was expecting to hear. Maybe the issue of, I know you do a lot of DNA testing. Do you run DNA tests at your facility there? Yes, I've been there. Very beautiful place. I want to ask, don't you think marital unfaithfulness is one of the major reasons why females are skeptical? Even women that their husbands are wealthy, they are wealthy themselves, you still see a lot of reactions. Like we have right now in the country, there's a major case of a celebrity. We just lost someone, one Afrobeat star, and then they are persuading the wife to go for a DNA test, even offering millions. And there's still reluctance from her side. Her family are even ready to sue the people demanding for DNA. I mean, don't you think that aspect, the prevalence of sexual decadence in the environment, marital unfaithfulness, is one of the reasons? I'm not being judgmental. I just think that is one major reason.
Well, I wouldn't know. Yeah, I wouldn't know what to say. About that particular scenario. But I do know that when it comes to DNA testing, people are just it's something that people are reluctant. Whether it is for a test of paternity. Whether it might be to look for cancer markers, or it's just something that people are more skeptical, because we know that it's something so distinct, is meant to bring the truth to like you will know exactly what it is. So I think people are a bit skeptical about conducting those type of tests. But as far as science is concerned, I do think that paternity testing is is a useful testing, because it can help you gain custody of a child, or for disputes of child support, or even for for a future inheritance. And then some people, sometimes they just don't know their origins, so paternity testing enables them to find out their their true origins. So I think is a type of testing that is beneficial to the individual and society.
People generally, why they are feeling reluctant, to me, not everybody, know how important it is when you talk about DNA. And reluctance is because it depends on the situation. Some people don't know the importance. That is just the reason.
Well, for every reasonable person, it should be the first stage, regardless of the trust you have for your wife or your partner. But I believe a lot of people shy away to avoid the heartbreaks and all of that. So that should be a reason. That should be a reason.
Any other reason?
Sometimes a lot of people might be so sure and they feel there might be no need. And of course, the financial aspect. It costs an amount.
Majorly is because some people are not really sure. You can't really tell, because I've not been in that shoe before. But I feel it happens majorly when a woman is not very sure of who got her pregnant. Because if you can beat your chest to say that this person is the father of my child, I should be able to do it without being forced, just to prove the point that this person is the child, or to this person.